Triambakam yajamahe sugantim pushtivardhanam urvarukamiva bandhanam mrityurmukshyamamritat
Hi, this is Amelía Eon Karis.
Hey everyone, it's Satya, and you're listening to Love, Sex and the Hidden Agenda. Welcome back to our show. Satya here, and I'm here with Amelía. Hello, Amelía.
Hello.
So I wanted to talk today about relationship patterns, particularly avoidance in relationship and how that surfaces, and how what that has to do with our needs and maybe unmet needs as well, and the push and pull of relationships. I know for me, what's been coming up lately is a lot of just kind of looking over my life, looking back and seeing, I've always had a lot of awareness, but at every stage of our development, we tend to sort of reintegrate what we already know, and we tend to see it in a new light, right? So what's been coming up for me a lot is, I'm looking back on my relationships, my intimate relationships, and the ones that didn't work out, which there were several. I think to myself, is there something wrong with me? I mean, wasn't I supposed to just, get married once, stay with the person forever, have 3 kids and the big house and, the perfect life and be in love and, and wasn't that how it was supposed to be? And yet each step along the way, I did not set myself up for that at every turn, even at other chances I had. I still would set myself up in a situation that was inevitably not going to work out. And, I really had to take a long, hard look at where, there's been people that I've been with who there's some part of them that I can't get to, or this person doesn't want to, touch me or hold me, and I'm, crying myself to sleep at night. And then, how is that going to work out? Right? That's not going to work out. But if I knew this about this person at the beginning, why would I stay 5 years?
Yeah, I'm curious, when at the beginning, like, were you looking for the husband and 3 kids scenario?
Yes. Yes. I feel like it.
Yeah,
I feel like at every turn, that's what I wanted. And yet
that was your goal. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And yet somehow I would lose my focus, and I would get distracted or something. And then I'd be with somebody that, I would see a red flag at the beginning, like, okay, here's a, deal breaker.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's say, and I think I've mentioned things like this before, but let's say that, there were certain great things, but the person had, was a pure full-blown alcoholic.
Yeah, I was going to say addiction.
Couldn't keep a job,
Yeah.
Or there's somebody over here who has, a nice job, but has an avoidant thing where they don't want to be intimate or something, or there's this, and I finally, really had to face the fact that though I thought I wanted, this life, I don't think I ever felt. First of all, I didn't have the upbringing to fit into that normal mold of society. I just didn't. So there's that, and there's a blessing and a huge reason for that. And but I feel like I would choose situations that unconsciously, that I would inevitably, it was just not going to work. And in the end, it would have to end. And what that did was that kept me safe from having to fully give myself in every way. It kept me safe from being hurt. It kept me safe from being destroyed, right? Because I saw something happen with my parents, and I saw one of my parents just be destroyed by the end of a relationship. And I vowed to myself at that point, I would never let that happen to me. So what did I do? I spent my life wanting this thing, but choosing situations that would be impossible to have it. Therefore, there's a piece of my heart that I always have protected. Mm-hmm. And then, so when it ends, I can kind of say, well, they weren't, that wasn't really everything. Or I knew there was, this huge darkness there and it wasn't going to work out, or it was so unhealthy for me anyway. Right.
So let me ask you, when you saw the red flag initially, did you also have the thought that you could either maybe fix it or somehow you could deal with it and it wasn't going to affect you?
Yes, over and over and over again. There were times that I thought I could fix it. And there were other times I thought, well, nobody gets, everything they want.
Right.
And I need to just endure this situation. And maybe there's something wrong with me that I want to be held, or that I want to. So
sacrificing the need.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's really common. And then, so you're sacrificing your own needs, thinking, well, this is enough. This should be enough. It's close enough. Right. And
I should be able to live without.
Yeah.
Right. I have these needs, but I should be able to live without those. And I will just figure out a way. Now, what is that? That's just more splitting of our personalities, more fragmentation, more, but we are told, and I feel like I was told somewhere along the line, I don't know if it was religion or society, I think it's told to us everywhere, is like, you need to, grin and bear it. You need to, you're in this and you stay in this. And this was like, I wasn't even necessarily married to this person, right? Or these people. Mm-hmm. But it's like, okay, you have love for this person, and this is now where you need to just stay until, it would just literally come crashing down, because that's what happens with the unmet needs, right? Like it creates this whole entire huge ball of energy that is being ignored or turning into some kind of demon or something. And then inevitably it's gonna. Yeah,
it's like a black hole sucking. We can try and avoid it or ignore our own needs, but it never goes away, because it's a core part of our functioning, our healthy functioning.
Yeah.
Certain needs met. Yeah.
And these messages.
Like safety, like connection, love, support.
Yeah.
Core.
And
core
so,
needs.
Yeah. I mean, like the messages of, you don't really deserve to have all of your needs met. Oh, wouldn't that be selfish if you really got everything you wanted? Oh, who do you think you are wanting?
That's a big one. Who do you think you are? I've actually had people say that to me. I had an old woman say that to me. Who do you think you are? Because I told her what my needs were. And she was just like, tough shit, like tough luck cookie or something. Who do you think you are? And I'm like, that's a basic need for me to feel safe. I'm like, I think I'm just like basically loving myself a little bit here. Like, I can't, but it told me so much about her that she had that was like a 80-year-old woman. And I was like, whoa, that woman's had a hard life. And she was so upset that I was going after my dreams. And I think it was after I had left my husband too. Yeah, it really, it upsets people. So I want to back up though, because when you said how, did your parents ever sit you down and like discuss with you how to find a good man or find get your needs met, right? They didn't, did they?
Oh, goodness. No, of course not. No.
Yeah, of course. My parents never talked to me about marriage, ever. Never. I never had any dating advice from my family. I never had any college advice, for God's sake, from my family. Like, nobody sat me down and ever talked to me like financial planning. Like, they never helped me even open a bank account, let alone with my homework or how to get into college. Nothing. I had to figure it all out myself. So, of course, when you're figuring out something as a child, like relationship and sexuality, how are you ever going to develop a loving, supportive marriage? Like, the only way you would even know how to do that is if you had seen it.
Exactly.
And none of us have seen that. I mean, none of us. I mean, there are the exception of people who really grew up with really loving parents who nurtured them, and they had like an extended family of all generations involved, that they could see the cycle of life. You know, I see in Latin cultures, in African cultures, and in some Eastern cultures that they're more well-rounded. Like, those basic needs are easier for them to be met because they grew up in community and they always had community and family to guide them. So whenever I see someone who has a strong family tie, always they're more grounded, they have more support, they have less fear in their body, less trauma in their body. But if you grew up isolated and with a dysfunctional family and constantly in fear of, you know, your next paycheck or the money or the rent or what, you're in trauma all the time. So you have a lot of unmet needs, which is, you know, the state of most of the Western world at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're
supposed to have healthy relationships.
Yeah, it really makes me feel sad when I think about, you know, and then there's even people who, let's say they did take that road that I, you know, fantasize would be right because that's what I've been shown in commercials and things like that. Most of those people are, you know, there's huge skeletons in the closet. There's a ton of, you know, lack of integrity or fidelity, or there's, you know, emotions that are being completely ignored in order to, you know, stay with the person. And and a lot of people completely fragment themselves and become a different person even just to stay in a relationship. And they are convinced that they are happy, yet they have no idea what's really going on. And that scares the living, you know what, out of me. Like I just, so I'm like,
yeah, because you and I are both women that are not going to settle for less than what we want. Like we need a certain level of connection. And if we don't have it, we'd rather be on our own. So therefore we'd rather risk leaving the relationship, you know, and starting over than staying. Now, a lot of people don't have the ability to take that kind of a risk. Like, most people in the world would rather stay. And that's when you get into the sexless marriage or the abusive relationships, or just the complacency and the obesity and the addictions, because they're not going to go find their needs somewhere else. You know, they're just going to live with it.
Exactly.
And we're saying, like, we don't want to live like that. We can't. It's like somehow hurting our soul to not have these needs met.
Right.
And then to have them in the first place makes it look like we're somehow selfish and self-absorbed, I don't know, relationship addicts or something.
True. And that's a key point. And, you know, I do feel like most people are walking around with a lot of needs for connection and love, and they just don't have it, whether they're married or not, or whatever the situation is. And we have been given permission that's okay. That's fine. You're not supposed to meet your needs. In fact, it's bad to have needs or have desires
or selfish or
right.
When in some way. Yeah. When it's just totally a normal human need. Everybody has a need for connection and touch and love and adoration. Yet so many of us were raised so neglected from that we've created these like weird distortions in our field and coping mechanisms. Mm-hmm. And so people have turned into really unhealthy adults because of the lack of love and affection and attention, like all the psychopaths, narcissists, and, the extreme personality disorders. And then you just get a bunch of people that are numbing out and trying to do what they think is right, but feeling completely unmet and unsatisfied and, just kind of stuck in the daily grind.
Right. And then, we've been told things like, you should, it's healthy to have space. So it's healthy to be alone. It's you got to be independent. Oh, you're not happy. Nobody can make you happy. You need to make yourself happy, and you don't need anyone else. And all of this kind of like positive
in a cave.
Like all of this like positive thinking bullshit. Like, okay, I'm all about positive thinking. It does have its place, but there's also a lot of
replacement for connection, true connection.
It's just not the truth. Yeah. It's just not the truth. I mean, my goodness, my dog, I, spent all day cuddling my dog. I left for 20 minutes. I came back and he went berserk. Like just, oh God, please touch me. Oh, please, just, barking just up on me. I mean, and I had this moment where I thought, oh, wow.
Yeah, if a human did that would be like, oh my God, they're so needy. There's something so wrong with them.
Right. And, or they've got, this personality disorder or that personality, and I'm obviously not saying you have to act like a dog, but I am saying that, we are creatures of this earth. And I just had this moment where I thought, oh gosh, I actually thought my dog was completely crazy. I put the human thing on, I put my program onto my animal. And I thought, okay, there's got to be something wrong with this dog. Like, this is not, but no, this is how animals are.
Well, is and even your dog a rescue dog?
Yes, he's a rescue dog. But like
anyone knows that they've rescued animals, they all have animals with personality disorders. I mean, that's really common. Anyone who has a rescue dog, like the dog who bit my face, that was a rescue dog. Mm-hmm. And right. Animals have trauma just like humans, and they act it out more naturally than we do. It's easier to see in animal behavior. Like,
right, but every dog I've had, like even the one who came from like the cute little, was taken care of very well, and I had him since he was a puppy. They all want to be near you. They
do. They want companions.
They all miss you, even if you leave. They want to cuddle with you on the sofa. They want to sleep with you. They want to, and we have so much separation. So it put me in touch with just how much, like, as humans, we have separated ourselves or convinced ourselves that we are an island. We actually don't need anyone. When, actually, you can have a relationship and it is okay. And actually you are a more integrated person if you do need love from somebody and you are willing to receive and give love.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And all of the push-pull stuff, all of the, avoidance and the space and, a lot of that is just conditioned or fragments, or we've had to, from the time we were babies, right?
Coping. People trying to like override the core need so that they don't have to need it, because it's inconvenient to need touch and affection if it's not given freely and you have to go look for it, or you feel needy, or you feel like like weak, even admitting that you need a hug. I mean, that's really common. Like I grew up without a lot of affection. Like my mother is not an affectionate person whatsoever. I was needing it, but I also grew up, I inherited the belief that hugging was like overrated and there was no need for it. So like all the Californians that hugged, she was a New Yorker, and it was just like disgusting. Even now she's like, why that person wants to hug me? And that plays into me a lot, but yet my soul really wants to connect and feel a true connection.
Right.
It plays out in really interesting ways. And when we have unmet needs like that, distortions, dysfunction, addiction, mental disorders all get exaggerated and come into play when we have a core unmet need for like safety, connection, love, nutrition.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying there is a lack of healthy connection, and that we seem to go between, some kind of unhealthy connection and then, the connection isn't necessary and not okay. So
we're saying, because we have like 2 minutes
we
left.
have to wrap up.
Yeah.
Allow yourself to receive love today. That's what I say.
Yes. Give yourself permission to ask for a hug or love or whatever you're needing, because it's necessary for our survival. The connection is necessary.
Yep. I love it.
And vital. It's vital for our health. And
thanks for letting me rant. I was getting all worked up.
Yeah, it was a good rant. I think it's a core issue that we all have to varying degrees, some more extreme than others, but whoever's listening, go hug someone, give some love, receive some love.
Or write to us.
Yeah, tell us what unmet needs are happening in your life or distortions of unmet needs. But yeah, I just pray that those awake people can collectively create a world with more love, with more support, with more care for each other, where we can connect and not have to feel like we have to be so self-sufficient that we're supposed to figure everything out on our own by ourselves. It doesn't work like that. We need each other.
Amen.
Thank you, Satya.
Thank you, Amelía.
All right. Well, write to us. Let us know what you're feeling, what's being provoked in you when you hear our podcast. If you have questions or topics you would like us to discuss, you can reach us at lovesexagenda.com and on social media and YouTube, Love Sex Agenda. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Ciao. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you'd like to contact us and stay in touch with us, you can find us at lovesexagenda.com. That's lovesexagenda.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram, Love, Sex, and the Hidden Agenda.